Greetings, everybody. So here we are, Spoken World Online. It's week number 194. Wow. I'm going to continue the reading I've been doing for a number of weeks now from Lean Times in Lankhmar by the great Fritz Leiber. And last week we just had the Gray Mauser as who is an enforcer for Pulg, the extortionist, warning Fafford not to get too successful in the religion business. So we take it from there. Despite the wash my hands of you tone of this last whisper, the Gray Mauser did what he could to put off the evil night of reckoning, devising more pressing tasks for Pulg's bullies, and alleging that this or that omen was against the immediate settling of the Boisdres account. For Pulg, alongside his pink streak of sentimentality, had recently taken to sporting a gray one of superstition. There would have been no insurmountable problem at all, of course, if Boisdres had only had that touch of realism about money matters that, when a true crisis arises, is almost invariably shown by even the fattest, greediest priest or the skinniest, most unworldly holy man. But Boisdres was stubborn. It was probably, as we have hinted, the sole remaining symptom, though a most inconvenient one, of his only seemingly cast-off senility. Not one rusty iron tick, the smallest coin of Lankhmar, would he pay for extortioners. Such was Boisdres's boast. To make matters worse, if that were possible, he would not even spend money renting gaudy furniture or temple space for Issyk, as was practically mandatory for gods progressing up the central stretch of the street. Instead, he averred that every tick collected, every bronze agol, every silver smirduk, every gold rilk, yes, every diamond and amber goldach would be saved to vie for Issyk the finest temple at the citadel, and, in fact, the temple of Arath, the invisible all-listener, accounted one of the most ancient and powerful of all the gods in Lankhmar. Naturally, this insane challenge thrown out for all to hear had the effect of still further increasing Issyk's popularity and swelled his congregations with all sorts of folk who came, at first at least, purely as curiosity seekers. The odds of how far Issyk would get up the street, how soon, for they regularly bet on such things in Lankhmar, began to switch wildly up and down as the affair got quite beyond the shrewd but essentially limited imaginations of bookmakers. Boisdres took to sleeping curled in the gutter around Issyk's coffer, first an old garlic bag, later a small stout cask with a slit in the top for coins, and with Fafford curled around him. Only one of them slept at a time. The other rested but kept watch. At one point, the Mauser almost decided to slit Boisdres's throat as the only possible way out of his dilemma. But he knew that such an act would be the one unforgivable crime against his new profession. It would be bad for business and certain to ruin him forever with Pulg and all other extortioners, if ever traced to him, even in faintest suspicion. Boisdres must be roughed up if necessary, yes, even tortured, but at the same time he must be treated in all ways as a goose who laid golden eggs. Moreover, the Mauser had a presentiment that putting Boisdres out of the way would not stop Issyk, not while Issyk had Fafford. What finally brought the affair to a head, or rather to its first head, and forced the mouser's hand, was the inescapable realization that if he held off any longer from putting the bite on Boadris for Pug, then rival extortioners, one Basharat in particular, would do it on their own account. As the number one racketeer of religions in Lochmar, Pug certainly had first grab, but if he delayed for an unreasonable length of time in making it, no matter on what grounds of omens or arguments about fattening the sacrifice, then Boadris was anybody's victim, Basharat's in particular, as Pug's chief rival. So it came about, as it so often does, that the mouser's efforts to avert the evil nightfall only made it darker and stormier when it finally came down. And if you want to hear more, you got to come back next week. I put the link to the text in the chat if anybody wants to read ahead or read behind or read the whole thing straight through. Thanks for listening.